So, I'm Michelle Conklin. I'm a doctoral student in the Writing and Rhetoric program at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia, although I live just outside of DC in Northern Virginia, Alexandria specifically. I grew up in the Detroit area, and my handle on this YouTube channel is Working Class Wordsmith, because that's the name of my blog. And I'm not as attentive to my blog as I would like to be. And normally I write more than I shoot video, but with the news that Joe Biden is going to be our next president, and Kamala Harris is going to be our first female vice president, our first woman of mixed ancestry, so close to, the presidency. Meaning when I say mixed ancestry, I mean groups that have not been traditionally represented. Jamaican and Indian in her case. I just felt the need, before I get together with my friends on Zoom tonight to celebrate this slim, when you think in terms of percentages, slim victory of people who want democracy and who want representation of, by, and for the people, who don't believe who believe in progress, and who believe in science, and who believe in actually checking for factual information, and who don't believe that people you don't happen to agree with should not be beheaded, who don't believe in taking children from their parents, who believe that a whole lot more could have been done to get this pandemic under control. We would not be missing hundreds of thousands of our fellow Americans. We would not be missing so many businesses that have gone under. We would not have people who lost their jobs, who are trying to figure out how to make ends meet, who people talk about robbing Peter to pay Paul, but I have on occasion been in the position where I've gone through all 12 apostles, and I know that there are people out there tonight doing the same thing. And the reason why, people hear the term rhetoric and they think, it's always negative. Rhetoric really, at its heart, is about how we persuade people. Now, there's two basic ways you can persuade people. You can spin a tale completely untethered to fact and sell it off as truth, or what we like to call propaganda or disinformation. Misinformation is when people unwittingly pass off disinformation, meaning fabricated ideas and data and facts and such. Or you can use logic, you can use reason, back it up with provable examples and facts and evidence and honest testimony by people who have lived terrible experiences. My life's work, whether it be as a weekly newspaper reporter, whether it be as a secondary teacher, whether it be as an adjunct professor or graduate teaching assistant, although I get to run my own classes. Teaching assistant's just the title, but truthfully, I have as much autonomy as anybody else who teaches a class. Number one, we've got to figure out a way to start talking to each other. And number two, we've got to do it in a way that people don't feel like they're being talked down to. People have their beliefs for certain reasons. Maybe they've erroneously thought, well, this is my experience and therefore everybody has the same experience as me. But that's not true. But we have to hear about each other's experiences, and we have to figure, okay, so if you're going through this and I'm going through this other thing and this other person over here is going through something different, but we can find some commonalities and figure, okay, what are the common problems we have? And we can get at what is factually correct. And we can identify, okay, what kind of problem are we dealing with? And how can we begin to solve it? Then I think we've got a shot at restoring what this country is supposed to be about. You know, people talk about American exceptionalism, but I think it's time to admit American exceptionalism is a fallacy. And what I mean is this: the last 4 or more years have proven we are just as susceptible to propaganda, to manipulation, to lies as any other country in the world. Because when people in power have the ability to have the equivalent of a Dolby surround sound system compared to the bullhorns that ordinary people like you and me can have and drown us out, we don't get heard. We've got to, number one, get better at explaining ourselves. But number two, we've got to start learning how to listen to one another. We got to start saying, okay, let's have some ground rules. I'm going to be able to say everything I need to say without insulting you, without disrespecting your background, your lived experience. And you're going to do the same thing for me. And then we can figure out what we have in common and we can help each other. Because I don't care what part of this society you're in. I don't care if you're rich or middle class or working class or somehow, even as a homeless person, somehow having access to seeing this, because I know a lot of homeless people do have smartphones. I don't care what shade of skin you are, or what your ethnic background is, or what your religious beliefs are, or if you don't have a particular spiritual system of beliefs or ascribed organized religion, or even question whether or not there is a God. What the thing is that we all live together in this country. And we're also part of the larger world. We are. We're not. We like to think of ourselves as a little separate island, but we're not. But America is a microcosm of the problems that the world has, which is probably why we look inward so much. We think, okay, we got so many problems here. How can we possibly contend with what's out there? But the truth of the matter is, a lot of the problems we need to solve here are problems that the whole world is facing. But we got to get better at listening to each other. This past year, I saw a miniseries that just has stuck with me. I mean, just completely. It's like it's become part of my DNA. If you haven't seen Chernobyl, find a way to see it. Try not to pirate. Please, please, please honestly see it. You know, the people who made it put a lot of effort into it, and they deserve fair compensation, so please don't steal it. But there's something the main character, based on a real Russian scientist, Valery Legasov. And I don't know if he ever said these exact words, but in the miniseries, he says, and I'm not going to have the exact quote, so forgive me, but he basically says, every time we tell a lie, it incurs a debt to the truth. And no matter how much we try to deny it, no matter how much we try to ignore it, the truth is going to lay in wait, and it will come out eventually. And we need to stop worrying about the cost of truth, because now I ask myself, what is the cost of lies? This pandemic is our Chernobyl. It is. We've lost so many people. So many people's lives have been ruined. Irreparably, in many cases. We don't have the luxury to lie. We don't have the luxury to turn away from the truth. And I don't care what part of the political spectrum you sit on. We can't begin to solve our problems if we deny reality. And all of us need to make sure we're living in reality. We need to do that reality check. Don't share something on social media, for heaven's sakes, unless you've checked it out. For real. Take that extra 10, 15 minutes and look up what you see. That's one way. We got to start being accountable to each other. When I was a reporter, I couldn't just go off half-cocked and print whatever the heck I wanted. The thing about it is, we all now have that ability. We have this sphere of influence. And I can't remember the name of the guy I saw last night on Bill Maher. And I don't agree with everything Bill Maher says, but I don't agree with all his stances, but he has some darn good guests. And this gentleman who made the documentary The Social Dilemma on Netflix, he said, we all have freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean we all have freedom of reach. Now think about that for a minute. If you put something out there into the universe, you have an obligation to your fellow human beings to make sure that it's truthful, that it's factual, that it's real, that it doesn't have any logical fallacies, that it's not some talking point of some overpaid pundit on a network. We all have an obligation to one another, to be honest actors with one another and tell each other the truth. This country, yes, whether or not you voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, guess what? They're going to be our president and vice president. And instead of getting guns and raising a ruckus and trying to stop vote counts or harass people or whatever, stop. I beg you. just calm down. Don't look at this as the end of your country, because it's not. America has reinvented itself time and time and time again, just like any other country that has survived. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. We have a chance right now to reinvent ourselves and make something that's going to be good for everybody. Some people are going to have to kick in a little bit more. For some people, it's going to be about more talent. Sometimes it's going to be about more money. Sometimes it's going to be both. But at the very least, what we can do right now is tell each other the truth. Make sure that we don't spread lies amongst each other. And we've got to get better at identifying the problems we have in common. Figure out what those common struggles are and working towards solutions. And I'm not going to get everything I want. You're not going to get everything you want. Compromise is not a dirty word. Politics has been referred to, and I forget who originally coined the phrase, the art of the possible. The art of the possible. It's aspirational. It's supposed to be aspirational nature. It's not about wielding power so that you can make yourself feel like you're king or queen of the hill and everybody else can go to hell. If that's your attitude and you're in power, get out now and move out of the way, because we don't have time for you. There's too much at stake. This pandemic has proven there's too much at stake. People have died. And it's time for this to stop. We don't need any more people dying. Trust doctors, trust science. For heaven's sakes, Dr. Fauci should be, he and the unsung heroes who work just as hard as he does, all those amazing first responders, the people who work in the grocery stores, the people who do the cleaning up in hospitals and other public spaces so that we can try to be healthy. Everybody who's been putting in the work to keep this nation going, God bless them. For all those poll workers, for all the election workers who counted those votes, who sometimes did it at the threat of being intimidated, God bless them. For all the lawyers who have defended our rights, God bless them. But we have got to be there for each other. And we have got to have each other's backs. We got to stop thinking that's a zero-sum game, that in order for me to get by, you've got to lose. Albert Einstein said an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, and it's true. I've been thinking for a while, yes, I'm busy. I'm a graduate student. I've got classes I'm teaching. I've got a mom with Alzheimer's and dementia she's in a group home, but I got to figure out how to make the money stretch. And how to take care of myself and other people I love. I want to hug my friends again, and I want to hug my mom and be able to take her out for a meal again, and I want to be able to have a debate about ideas without it devolving into feeling like it's a personal attack, so that maybe at the end of that debate we can come up with some good ideas, so we can try to create some solutions. That's the America I was raised to believe in. maybe it was a dream. Maybe it never really existed, but I want to believe that it does. So I'm begging you. Keep calm. Oh, darn it. Where's a tissue when I need it? And just don't. Heck with it. I'm going to use mine. I can wash my eyeglass cleaner pad. But just believe in America again. Believe that we can make this better. And I think I'm going to start something. Maybe I'm going to start a vlog. But I don't know how regularly I can do it. Time seems even more in short supply than money, but I gotta try. Because there's a lot of great things I'm learning that if I can figure out a way to make it so that you don't have to have alphabet soup after your name to understand these ideas, because there are real world applications to them, I want to share them with you. Because I want everybody to be more critical thinkers. I want everybody to use logic, and I want people, because if we do those things, then we can start solving the problems we have and making a better country and a better world. And just one last thing I'm going to say. First of all, I want to thank all my friends and family who've kept me going. And I know I've been off the radar for a lot of people, but I've just had my hands full last year and a half, even before the pandemic. But also, I want to say, I believe we can do this. I believe we have to open our minds and open our ears and open our hearts. We have to sit with some uncomfortable truths, and we're going to have to, we just got to get this done. And we've got to hold people who lie to us accountable. We don't do it by gunning them down in the streets. We don't do it by being villagers who go after them with pitchforks, but we start making people accountable through the rule of law. It's not about settling scores, it's about justice. You gotta make sure that justice is served. So I'm gonna say thank you to everybody who's fighting the pandemic. Thank you to everybody who's trying to help people who are suffering economically, in terms of health, whatever. And if you're in a position of power, if someone tells you to destroy records from this time, don't you dare. Because we are going to need something like a Truth and Reconciliation Commission like South Africa had. We're going to need something. We need to get at the truth of this time. We need to find out what happened. How so many things, how part of the CDC failed us. We got to talk about a lot of things. How so many parts of government failed us. How so many people failed us. We've got to shore up these institutions. We got to put some things into law. Because without that, we're not going to have a just society. It's just not going to happen. And the kind of justice you get should not depend upon how much money you've got in your pocket. Justice should be for all. It should be equal for all. Penalties equal for all. And vindication should be equal for all. So somebody tells you to destroy something, you find a way to keep it. You know what to do. You know what to do. And we gotta protect whistleblowers. We gotta be there for each other. Okay? So listen. Wear a mask. It's not gonna kill you. Come in lots of colors. Make a fashion statement out of it. Social distance. Zoom is great as long as you get Zoom bomb like I did last spring with my students, and that was things I can't unsee, but I've learned about more security measures since then. And finally, I want to give a shout out. It's going to sound weird, but just bear with me. I've been watching during this pandemic Quarantine Kitchen with Alton Brown and his wife, Elizabeth Ingram, on YouTube. And okay, I'll admit I'm a foodie. I mean, I have gains that went over the pandemic, and I'm on a diet, and I've lost a third of the weight I gained, and I've got to lose some more even from that point on. But anyway, I love to cook, and I love food, and I have very happy associations with cooking, and I miss Anthony Bourdain every day. I didn't agree with everything he said either, but he was smart, and he at least tried to listen to everybody, and I think that in and of itself is a true talent. Try listening to somebody. Try not speaking and listening to what somebody has to say for at least 20 minutes and truly focusing on what they say, and you'll develop a renewed sense of what it means to be a good listener. We got to get better at listening to each other. But anyway, they made this video, I think it was Friday night, and you can find it on YouTube. It's called Let's Talk. And I didn't agree with every single thing either one of them said, but damn did they have a good conversation. And it was coming from a genuine place of wanting to promote understanding and wanting to make the world a better place. So, and now I'm going to warn you, it's not safe for work. Okay? And, little ones, teenagers, depending on their maturity level and how much you've talked to them about certain aspects of life, you're going to want to watch it before you share it. But it's great. It's really great. And they had a really good conversation, I'm thinking. And they invite us into their kitchen, into their home with their dogs. And they talk about all kinds of things about life, in addition to sharing great recipes with us. And it's not the Alton Brown you see on Food Network. And Food Network tries to cancel him for speaking his mind. Gonna have some words with Food Network. But it's real. It's authentic. It's not slick, overproduced. It's life. And we need that. Not reality TV. No, I mean like reality. Okay? So, I gotta think about what I might do. I don't want this to be a one-off, but I just want you to know. I may disagree with what you say, or part of what you say. But that doesn't mean I want you dead. And it doesn't mean I want anything bad to happen to you. I want to figure out how we can work together. I want to figure out what we can do to make the world a better place. For you, for me, for everybody. So just try to be kind to each other and understand each other, and and love one another, and be willing to listen to views that are not the same as yours. You've got to open your mind. You can't be closed off. It's something I'm working on. It's something we all need to work on if we're honest. We can always get better at this. So I just want to say I wish the world peace and love and understanding, and that nobody goes to bed hungry or sick or feeling alone or without shelter. And until we can get there, until we can get this planet right, we got work to do. And some of these problems are time sensitive, so celebrate tonight and know that tomorrow we got to wake up. We got to get back to work. So be safe, be well, take care of yourselves and one another, and be kind whenever. Just be kind. You don't have to be saccharine, you don't have to be artificial, but be kind, okay? So, challenge what you're told. Not just off the cuff, but think about it. And I'm gonna start trying to do some sharing of what I'm learning and make it so that you see how it can really make your life better. So just love to you all, and please be safe and take care, and whatever challenge you're having, know that there's help out there and we can get through this together. So, bye for now.